Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Sunday afternoon, which means it's time for us to talk about coping with stress. And I just wanted to say a very big thank you to you all. I've got Christmas going on behind me here, and I will talk about that in a second. So exciting. What I wanted to say is for those of you who are new, just know that Dear Mama Sal is a group of people who get together 3 times a week and we hold each other's hands as we go through life. And we talk about coping with our feelings and coping with stress and coping with life on a restricted budget and all those sort of things because that's what real life is about. So a very big welcome to you all. I'd like to introduce you to Jody, who is an admin and looks after me so well. And Karen, is that the Karen from New York? That Karen. Because I hope so. Because it's so funny. I was going to open this present up, and I thought, no, I'd rather open it up online so that I have genuine reaction rather than something else. Today our quotes are about not giving up because it's really important. And today we're going to be talking about me trying to get more organized in the hope that it will also encourage some of you to look at yours as well. You're probably way more organized than I am. Here's the quote. You may not always end up where you thought you were going, but you will always end up where you're meant to be. And, I think there are times when we need to remember that, that we might not have thought this was the right place for us, but it really is. And if we can accept that, then we are going to be much happier people. And I would want that for us all. My favorite monk said, smile, breathe, and go slowly. And getting organized for me requires that I smile a lot, I breathe lots, preferably not the dust, and that I go as slowly as it takes me. Before I get on to the topic, I just wanted to wish Nyasha a belated birthday for the first. And we know that I believe she's going to see a specialist on the 12th, either that or the operation. I did send her a note to just let me know which it was, and I'm just waiting to hear back. Never be afraid to try something new. Remember that amateurs built the Ark and professionals built the Titanic. Why does that really amuse me? Yes. So, for those of you who don't know, my very dear friend Yvonne and Wade invited me over for belated Christmas at their place. They moved recently, the last month or so, and they wanted me to come over and have Christmas with them. So, last night I got in the car and I drove, and I don't know if any of you have found this, but since the pandemic, where, we stopped going out as much and so forth, I realized I had not driven at night for an awfully long time, like a couple of years. And quite honestly, I don't mind telling you, I was a little fearful. Do any of you relate to that? And then not only was it dark, but also it was raining. And then not only was it dark and raining, but I had to go to a place that I didn't know. So all those things, like one thing on its own would have been bad. Two of them brought me down a bit more. Three of them had me, quite honestly, a little terrified. I don't mind telling you that. But I did manage to get there safely. And I did manage to get back, obviously, because here I am. So one of the things that I had asked Yvonne to do, because she's closer to where my post box is, we got this sort of system with the local post office that Yvonne can pick up my stuff for me, whether she could pick up anything from my mailbox so that I didn't have to make that extra trip. Oh, interesting. Jeannie's saying she doesn't like driving at night either. Yeah, I want to tell you something, Jeannie. I was close to terrified. I don't mind admitting that. Anyway, so here we go. First of all, Jeannie, thank you for the lovely card. This is a Christmas card that Jeannie sent me, really pretty, and really enjoyed getting that. And then I thought you'd all be really touched by this. There was a card in my mailbox just written like this, right? Which is sort of unusual. And when I opened it up, it was from all the women that work the shifts at the post box, at the postal outlet there. And they heard that I hadn't been very well. And it just says, sending you wishes and thoughts your way. We hope you're feeling better today. And then the note says, we are all thinking of you. Be better soon. And then they all signed it. And I want to tell you that sort of, I don't know about you guys, but that sort of touched my soul. I just, and it's so funny because they all know me as Dear Mama Sal. And if you want to know how personable it all is, they saw Yvonne, and Yvonne said, "I don't know if you'll be okay with this, but I believe there's a parcel. I mean, believe there's something here for." That's as far as she got, and somebody said, "Mama Sal," and it's a parcel. And they knew that, and so Yvonne said she's coming for dinner, so they let me have it. So there we go. That's that and that. However, this is the parcel, and it comes from Karen from New York. So Karen, I've only undone it this much so that I can undo it. I know what it is because it tells me that on the front. I cheated. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Did you really do this yourself? Look, everybody. Oh, it's going to keep me so warm while I'm binge watching. Isn't that great? Now, wait a minute. Karen, did you crochet me one last year? Now, there's a reason why I'm asking that. It really is. Look at the work in that. Hours and hours and hours. This isn't just about the hours of work. It's the hours of love in it that I can feel. But I want to tell you something, that when I'm sitting, you did make me one last year. That's what I thought. There's the gray one, right? Well, I want to tell you, your skill set has really improved no end. I mean, that's why I wanted to check, because I remember what you did last year. And I'm going, boy, this is really amazing. I hope you had fun doing it. But it really is. Thank you very much. Look great around here, wouldn't it? Oh, it's going to keep me nice and warm. How many of you can see me binge watching? And you know what will happen. I'll just lean over and fall fast asleep. So thank you so much. Very thoughtful. Very thoughtful. So now I get to enjoy that, because I didn't want to open it yesterday. I said to Yvonne, there's part of me that wants to open it, but I don't want to open it because I'd rather, in case Karen is there, I'd rather open it online. So I'm just going to put that down for a second. And then Yvonne and Wade just spoiled me stupid. Well, not stupid. They gave me different gift certificates. One for Amazon, of course. And then one for the Dollarama, because they know I like to go there and get things, glass things to put my flowers in and so forth, to give presents to people. And then they gave me a third one, which is a Visa one. And this one is so that I can buy the stuff I like to buy on Wish. Well, how thoughtful is that? And it's just like, I've already spent the one on Amazon. Oh, and that wasn't a crocheted scarf. That was a crocheted blankie. that is definitely a blankie for me. So anyway, what I wanted to show you was that one of the things that I found this week was, and that's why I've already spent my one gift certificate. But I have been looking at different papers and see if I can get paper on a roll. Don't know if you can see the texture on this. Can you see the texture on this? Anyway, so this is craft paper, but colored, and it's thick. You know, it's beautiful. Look at that. So, you know, I'm doing experiments this week on the Three Wise Men using this. And I also, have any of you got one of these? What you do is, it's a paper cutter. So you just line it up. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to waste the paper, but you just literally roll your paper into it like this, and then you just go, and it cuts the roll of paper, wrapping paper. Works like a hot so-and-so. Anyway, so what I spent my money on was I did some research and I got a red roll and a green one. So, you know, I'm getting ready for Christmas already. So I had a lot of fun with the presents that I bought for Yvonne and Wade. And yeah, I thought that blue was gorgeous as well. And it's that texture to it. It looks like leather almost. So I'll show you what a card looks like and compare the two when I've done it. But you know, one of the things I gave Yvonne was, hang on a second. A picture paints 1,000 words. I gave her one of these. Now, I don't know if any of you saw this when I first got it, but this is like a very thin Swiffer. It's not made by Swiffer. But you know what's so good about it? You can go under the oven, you can go under the fridge, you can go behind the bookcase, under the deep freeze, everywhere. And these covers and stuff, they're washable. So I knew, I want to tell you something, Jody. I know how much I use it. And I went, yeah, if I use it that much, Yvonne's going to want it. So anyway, I wrapped it up as one of her presents. Well, guess who couldn't wait to use it? The one thing I said to her was, before you use it, Bonnie, get some Gorilla Glue and glue this part to this part, because it comes from China and it's not, you know, the first time I used it, I ended up with this bit staying underneath the oven and the handle bit coming out. And I'm going, well, that doesn't work very well. But since I got Gorilla Glue on it, it works beautifully. But it was obviously so that they could send it easily. So we had a lot of fun. I had a full turkey dinner. That's the first turkey dinner that I've had this year. And it's funny, isn't it, that normally, you know, you're going, boy, if I have any more turkey. It was just like, oh, so nice to have turkey. I hadn't had any. How about this one? It says, if you want to be happy, you have to be happy on purpose. When you wake up, you can't just wait to see what kind of day you'll have. You have to decide what kind of day you'll have. So part of that is getting organized in your life, right? In your mind, in your how you spend your time, how much you clean up, how much you prepared for stuff. And so I wanted to talk a bit more about that, because I've decided my mantra for this year. You know, every year I try to have something that I use as my mantra. And it's going to be really difficult. And you can probably see the problem on my face already, but I've decided my mantra is, don't be a hoarder. So let me tell you what happens to me. I will look at this and I'll go, you know, that's useful wrapping for something else. No, it's going. Thank you very much, Karen. But the wrapping is going. And that is what my new thing is, which is get rid of as much stuff as I can, simplify my life. And I'm going to show you a bit of that problem in a second, because again, there's nothing like seeing it in reality. And I know you all think that I am a pretty perfect sort of person. Yeah, right. And I want to show you, so hopefully you'll all go, thank goodness she does that sort of stuff too. So, do any of you find clutter difficult? And have any of you beaten the clutter thing? Now, there's part of me that goes, you know, it's how you choose to live your life, right? And, I was visiting Yvonne, and Yvonne doesn't like to throw anything away either. And so I started to look at her stuff and going, yep, I think I'm doing just one step up on that. But I'm working at this year. My whole thing is going to be stop being a hoarder. And now it may take me the rest of my life. But what I thought I would do bit by bit is to share it with you. Would that be inspirational for you to to see to see my reality? If so, then obviously I'll gladly do it. And if you're going, no, I don't need to see that. I'm a perfect person. Um, saw a quote this week and it said, don't let your loyalty become slavery. Do any of you feel that, your loyalty to your friends is actually punishing you rather than serving you? And if so, you might want to have a look at why. Why do you choose to do this way? All right. And maybe it's time to get that part of your life more organized. So I've been working, as some of you know, in my craft room to try and get that tidied up. Now, that's sort of like an oxymoron, isn't it? To have a tidy craft room sort of goes against the grain somehow. But what I want is a more organized craft room. And part of the problem that I've got is I still have all those cubies filled with stuff that are not necessarily craft related, but they're in those cubies. You all know I've got all those cubies in there. But they're in the cubies in the craft room. Now, here's the problem. My ultimate plan was to put cubies in the the back, what I call the back office, which is the supposed second bedroom. Uh, and what I was going to do is to put a whole QB unit in there so that I could sort out what's left of the boxes that I haven't unpacked from moving the second time. So that's a big job. Do any of you understand that? Because what I've got enough cubies, the wire ones, to put up a whole wall unit. And then I can start unpacking all those boxes that are to do with my artwork and start getting those sorted out. And because this is what I learned. Whatever you want to sort out, I don't care if it's a drawer or a room. Number one is purge, right? The main thing is get everything out of where it is. Take everything out of the drawer. And before you do anything else, clean the drawer, or clean the room or whatever, repaint it, do whatever you want to do. But then before you put anything back, purge. And the goal is try and purge 50%. If every time you do this, you can purge 50%, you're going to end up with a much less cluttered place to live. So what I decided was I've been back in the house for a while now. And so therefore, it's time for me to start going through these cubies. Now, the one I'm going to show you today is the one. Oh, I got two to show you today. One is my pens and pencils cubie. Now, please try not to cry with laughter on this one. For some reason, I have got dabbers for bingo. I don't play bingo. This is a pen that I was given after giving a speech somewhere. Very pretty box. A beautiful wooden box and a wooden pen. And does it still write? She wonders. No, of course not. But how many of you know difficult to throw away because it's such a nice box and such a nice pen? It doesn't work. Oh, look at that. Another dabber. Now, I must have had a reason to have dabbers, right? If you think about it. It's a roller even. Why would I have had rollers? I'm not quite sure. Okay, now in here, I have got, oh, now that is useful. These are refills for my erasable pens. That definitely is staying. That's a tea light. That can stay. And that is a syringe. And I do use those for all sorts of different things. You know what I call a syringe, but you know, when I want to fill up or what do you call it, a diffuser or something. So I'm going to keep that. And this is a WD-40 pen. Still got stuff in it. Oh. Here we go. I'm going to hang this here so that you don't have to watch it all the time. Okay. I've got one thing on. I really don't need the dabbers, right? Can anybody think of an incredible use of dabbers? Let them go, Sarah. All right, what is this? Oh, these are little, oh, those are very useful for my day timer. I'm going to keep those. All right, these are refills for my pen that I had about 20 years ago. Goodbye. Keep that. Whiteout pen, useful. Whiteout pen, useful. And then prepare, this is my pencil, and those are the leads to go inside. I'm going to keep those. Pen. That is useful. Oh, well, actually, it's worth having a look at these. Yeah, interesting. The dabbers, Karen's wondering whether they're something, you know, are they useful for refilling ink in the printer? It's not why I've got them. Look at that. I found extra craft pens. We know I need those. I don't need the rubber thingies. I really don't need that. Don't need that. I'm trying not to look. Oh, I do. I can never have too many of those. I'll show you. I can never have too many bulldog clips. I don't know about you guys. But the rest of it, I think this is a calligraphy pen. No, a real fountain pen. Anybody still got a real fountain pen? Yeah, I don't need that. Okay. It's got very little to do with pens and pencils. This is one of those contraptions that you read a book with. Anybody got one of those? You know, you put your book in here and it holds the paper for you, and you know, you just turn. No. Be a nice present for somebody there who reads. Sal, get rid of it. Oh, cream for my arthritis. That's worth keeping. My business card holder. I have to get more business cards again. Okay, that's an eraser. That's a nice one, silicone one. That's invisible tape, but I'm getting rid of it because I don't know how old it is, and it just doesn't last very well. There's some gum. And more lead for my pencil. Now, I do find these hooks very useful. Goodbye. We're doing quite well, people. The goal is to at least halve it. This is that squidgy stuff that you use to clean your keyboard. Have any of you got that stuff? It's like slime. Okay. All right, now these these are I'm going to keep. They're my chalk pens. I write on my microwave and all sorts of places with my chalk pens. So those are staying. I wonder if any of these actually work. Yeah, it looks pretty old. This is the difficulty, is not to just hold on to everything. It's a great pen. Look at that one. I used to use it for when I was doing presentations. As you can tell, it's got my name on it. This is pretty old, but it's a whiteboard marker, and oh yeah, it's pretty good, that one. So we'll hold on to that. And then this is a flip chart marker. Oh, it's very good. We're allowed to keep that one. Yeah, that's also pretty good condition. So we'll keep that one. Okay, so here, a whole selection of ballpoint pens. And I don't use these anymore because I like to use an erasable pen. I'm going to throw the whole lot out. Not going to look at them. That wasn't so difficult. Gel pens. Now, I'm going to hang on to the gel pens because I use them in my printer. You know, when my die cutter also writes, and the gel pens are really good, and I've got a collection of them somewhere. Anybody need a highlighter? I was looking for them yesterday. I don't want to get rid of them. I'm going to keep this. I'm allowed to keep half, right? Okay. All right, everybody. Do I really need pencils? And they're brand new, most of them. Don't know if you can see, most of them are brand new and never used. So I'm thinking I should donate those. What do you think? Like to something, I'll take out the older ones, but the brand new ones, I just donate the whole lot to the thrift store or something. What do you think? Don't all shout at once. Okay, that's thrift store. So those are all good quality pens. So I am going to hold on to those as well. Pretty good job, Sal. More highlighters, but they're all from the time. Oh, and there's a chalk pen in there. Chalk pen. So I'm wondering, should I? Yeah, that works too. So chalk pens. All right. Chalk pen that works. We like those. Now, you guys are all pretty sentimental people. These are all badges I was given. When I was a speaker, I'd go to different towns and different people would employ me to speak for them. And then quite often they would give me a pin from their municipality or from their association. Look, I've got an American one there because I think I got that from the American Engineer Society when I spoke to them. But it's a whole collection. So they don't belong here. They belong in my memory bin. And I know that there's absolutely no reason whatsoever to keep them. But I do have one cubie that Oh, interesting. Karen's saying I use those as push pins now. What a good idea. What a brilliant idea. You know what else would be a good idea is to put them on magnets. Huh. Now, a lot of them are from Rotary because I was a Rotarian for a long time. Some of them are quite special. There's George. So, and of course, they belong in the memory box, agreed? They just, I don't have to throw them out. They just don't belong in pens and pencils. So that stays. So people, empty. And we're going to put those in a donate box. I'm just going to put them back in there for now because I've already started a donation box. These I get to keep, but I'm going to keep them in my, my coffee table is a desk. It comes up as a desk. I'm going to keep those in there because that's where they belong. Agreed? These are old. I'm going to throw those out. I'm actually quite proud of myself for this. So this, we know where this is going. Do you all agree? I need to say goodbye to it. As nice as it is. Goodbye. So what I want to know is, am I the only one that has these voices in my head? When you see something that, obviously somebody spent a lot of time making, even though it's a promotional thing, what goes through your head that makes it difficult to throw it away? I want to make sure that we all own whatever, to me, it's like that costs somebody a lot of money. That's real wood. It's not veneer, that's solid wood. Somebody spent a lot of time making that and effort, and that's a really nice handcrafted pen. So what I want to do is ask you what goes through your mind. Is it that you're wasting money? Is it that you are disrespecting? Think about what your reaction would be. To me, it's a disrespect of the time and effort somebody put into it. But really, does it serve me right now in this stage of my life? And the answer is no. But do the chalk markers? Yes. And these things just need to go in different places. All right. Now, I don't know if you noticed this very handy container that I've got things in here. This is a tomato container. I now specifically buy these tomatoes because they come in these containers. These are the most useful containers in my fridge. I have different things in my fridge in different containers now. And they are really useful in my office and in the craft room. The other thing I've discovered is that the top of an egg box is a really useful container for tools, for pens, for those are the gel pens, right? But you know, so now what I'm doing is I've purged. Now I need to contain these and get them in the right place. Now I've got all week to get sorted through these. But basically, you can see that I have done the purge. Now, an intelligent person would have got rid of 95% of that, but I'm not intelligent. But I did do 50. Proud of myself. So you get the idea. One QB for the week. And then I've actually got a second one because I need help with this one. I need you to help me with the thinking process. Do any of you have a lot of rags, cloths, cleaning cloths? I have a whole cubie full of cleaning cloths of various ages. So I just want to show you the different sorts. And I can see that those are grungier than that. It's a little better. That's not so grungy. And they're grungy. Not so grungy. Not so grungy. One of those fancy ones. Older, older. Older. Yeah, I'm trying to work out which ones are still whiter than fairly white. Fancy one. Oh, kitchen one. That's a nice one. Yeah, put that too near the bleach one day. That definitely can. A Star Trek bunny, a teddy bear. Oh, these are, you know, really. A very nice fluffy folder. Microcloth, microcloth, microcloth folder. Okay, so let's keep the microcloth type ones for now. See how I'm doing. Okay. Another microcloth. Another microcloth. Two of them. Micro chamois. Chiffon. Micro. Chiffon. Micro. Older, older, older. Wait, there's more. Older, older, older. I keep them, I cut them up to use them for my, I make my own self-watering goodies. See that? So this is a piece of face cloth that sits in the bottom, goes through the bottom of this, and therefore it's always drawing up water to keep the seedlings watered. But I really don't think I need that many. Do you? So for the year, I probably need a couple. Let's make it 3. What goes through your head? This is like, you agree I really don't need this many. By the way, I have others. I already have 3 in my bathroom. I probably have another 6 in my laundry. So do I really need this many cloths? Hold on 1 second. Goodbye. But it's just like, can you see the problem I have? However, empty. I am now going to decide, do I really need this many microcloths of various things? And I'm going no. But microcloths and the chiffon cloths are very useful. So what I'm thinking is, and they're in pretty good condition, so I'm going to go through these, keep half of them, and I'm going to donate the other half. We've got a society here, that helps look after refugees when they come in. And what I'm going to do is to, what they do is they put together, the bits and pieces they need for a kitchen or something like that. So I've got a whole bin that I will show you probably next week, a whole bin of kitchen stuff that I, over and above everything I got in my kitchen. It's all the stuff that came out of my trailer and the stuff I've been holding on to. And I'm thinking I'm just going to bag all that up and take it to this place so that they can make sets of things for people who've just arrived and have nothing. All right, so that's not too bad. Chamois is always useful. So I will give you my word that I will go through this and halve it. I'm going to keep those. No, I'm not going to keep those. Goodbye. I'm going to keep these for my flower pots. I'm allowed that. And that's just the thing. Okay, so my goal is to get through that bin this week, along with what's the half of the stuff that is in with the pens and pencils. I'm going to put into my desk area in my living room. I've got one of those coffee tables that comes up as a desk, and it's all going to go in there, because if I've got too much to go in there, then I need to throw some away. And this I'm going to sort out. How many of you can see two bags? So I challenge you, because it's me. I challenge you. Can you get rid of 2 bags of stuff out of your house this week? What do you think? Anybody? This one is pretty darn full. This is about 2/3 full. And with all due respect, how much time did it really take? Now, do I really need the little bunny, the Star Trek bunny, teddy bear? No. Right, Jody's saying definitely that in their house they can do 2 bags. So that's my challenge to you. And you've seen that it didn't take that long, and I just need to grit my teeth and I like the idea that I can keep half. All right, that helps me. I don't have to get rid of it all. Just get rid of half of it. And so therefore, in effect, even if I kept 1 cubie with those 2 halves put back into 1 cubie, I've now freed up another cubie for better use. Oh, That was quite hard work for me. So I want to make sure that we all understand that it is being a hoarder, I don't think is about being lazy. I think being a hoarder is about being thrifty, being able to see a second use for things. All right. So remember this, right? Number one, get it all out, purge half of it, contain it. And so part of my job, and I do find putting it into plastic baggies helps. Like I had all the pens and pencils already sorted into plastic bags, because that helps you see, really, do I need that many pencils? Now, you all know I'm going to need a pencil this week. On principle, right? So I'll probably hang on to two. So how long do you think that took? What would your sense be? 10 minutes? 15? Next week, what I'd like to do is I've got a huge bin of Christmas stuff, right? A huge bin. I mean, a huge bin, one of two, of Christmas stuff. But it's the stuff that I didn't put out in the house. And I didn't put much out this year, but it's the second bin that I want to go through, because I think when I talk to you about it, I'll be able to, my goal will be, can I get rid of another 2 bags? Or half, whichever is better, or donate, right? That's the other thing. I think part of my thing is it's still good. Why would I throw it out in this world if we throw too much out? And I'm going, well, then donate it. Take it to the thrift store or take it to, oh, there must have been dust in there. Take it to somewhere where they can use it. I can do this. So remember the thing about keeping the useful tops of things. I found that this container comes with my favorite crackers. Boy, are they useful. They're really useful for me to put. Of course, I haven't got them here, but if you can imagine this, one of these will hold about 3 seed hole. What do you call these things? Why can't my mind work today? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. These seed pots in for when it gets to spring. So I'm holding on to them for that reason, so that when I put everything out on my deck, it's much easier to water 3 things just by pouring into here and then watering 3 at a time instead of 3 individual ones. So that's why I'm going to keep those. So hold on to the things that are of use. And think about, if you can, just how many of things do you need, all right? Let me ask you a question. How many coffee cups have you got? Coffee mugs, coffee cups. I literally, they could be in my shed. I think I've got a couple of dozen at least sitting in a box somewhere. Why? Because I like them. I've got to go. So what I challenge you all to do is to do this journey with me this year. And keep reminding yourself, because if you keep watching me do it, hopefully you will go, well, Sal did it, so maybe I can as well. All right. But it's just a case of you don't have to get rid of it all. Try half of it. Now, you see, I like to think that I'm not a stupid person. So why have I held on to all these things? I hate to waste money. You know that. So, I find a pencil, I put it into, I just huck it into the cubie. And then about once every year, I go through the cubie and I sort it into the right baggie. So this is about thriftiness at some level, but you know, it becomes hoarder because I definitely don't need 24 pencils. I did when I was working because I always took them to me with me whenever I went to do a speech in case people were taking notes and they didn't have a pencil. You know, I like to be prepared, so I always had pens and pencils with me. Does that make sense? And you know, I always carried so many things with me. Anybody that has known me when I was organizing events will tell you, you know, I used to go to events with my trailer. And you know, the people like Benji and Doug and everybody will tell you that it was just an incredible thing. People would say, "Does anybody have any wire?" and the facilitators would say, "I bet Sal does." You know, and they come to me and Sal, "Do you have any wire?" Yeah, what thickness do you need? What? Well, I've got thin wire, like you know, picture wire, or I've got thick wire, like fence wire. Which do you need? You know, people would come to me and say, I forgot my blankie. No, really? You're the first person to ever do that at one of these events. By the way, what color do you like? I go, what? And I go, I've got quite a few here because you're not the only one that's forgotten their sleeping bag. So what color would you like? Let's see if I can give you the color, your favorite color. You know, or your pillow. Do you like feather ones or do you like, you know, and people used to look at me and just I can't believe that you would do that. Oh, I clean forgot my toothbrush. No, nobody's ever done that before, right? By the way, what color? What color was your toothbrush? Because you know, I had a whole set of new toothbrushes with me. It's the way that I showed love, but they never forgot it. Right? People always said, if you ever want to see somebody who's prepared for almost anything, and then Jody always calls me Mrs. MacGyver, but you know, it was like I always had not one but some, whether it was bug repellent or you know tampons for the girls, you know, you name it, I had it, and it used to give me such joy to be able to give that way. And some of you will understand that. So if you relate to the fact that I lived my life being that person, it probably doesn't surprise you that I hold on to things as well, because it's like, you know, I assure you, if you haven't got a pen, a secondhand pen, you don't care. If you haven't got a pen, you're grateful for anything that writes, right? Or if you have, you know, or a pencil, if you can't have a pen. So I understand why I held on to them. But I haven't been doing that for 10 years. I don't need them anymore. So when you think about it, you've got a good reason for holding on to the things you hold on to. So let me ask you, if you think about your home, what things are you most inclined to hold on to? All right. Now, let me show you why else I've got a problem. I just want just to give me some notes here. And if you're watching this on the replay, feel free to leave notes in the comments. What I want to know is what category of stuff are you most inclined to hold on to? I'll be right back. This is another reason why I have a problem. I found out that part of the hydroponic thing um, is it's a really good idea to have foam, you know, this thin foam. So I was looking at the price of foam, and the funny thing was I could buy a couple of sheets, but I could buy a whole lot of it like this for, you know, about a couple of bucks more. So, you know, I bought all these sheets of foam. So what am I going to do with them? Okay, so thank you for the input here. Jody's saying she holds on to holiday decorations that are sentimental. Good, Jody. So when we go through the box, you know, you'll be able to help me because you'll probably be able to help me more than you can help yourself. And then Jeannie's saying dish towels for various seasons. Yes, you got dish towels for every season. Do you really need that? And if the answer is yes, can you throw some away this year? In other words, have some of them seen more seasons than they need to? Or can you donate them so somebody else can have them? Can you see where I have this problem? I will buy in bulk rather than one. However, oh, that's nice. I scored myself a little ruler in there. Do you have anything else? Yes, it's got a little. I have no idea what that is. Probably a punch thing. Oh, and eyes. And how exciting is this? Ah, the kid in me is quite happy now. All right, so this is for the hydroponics, and I will show you what I'm going to do with it in another broadcast. However, I thought I'd tell you what my learning is this week. It's quite scary, actually, when I start these new hobbies, right? Because every time it's new learning and new expense and new understanding. One of the things that I noticed that they talk a lot about when you're doing hydroponics are the pH. Now, basically what the pH is do you have enough nutrients in the water? Does that make sense to everybody? So what I need is a pH reader. So you stick that into the water to find out if you've got enough nutrients in the water. And if you haven't, you need to add some. Pretty simple, right? But if you put too much in, it'll read too high, in which case you need to add more water to the mix. Pretty easy to understand. Then it talked about EC. Now, I'm not good at this yet, and I may just cheat a bit here. Hang on a second. Basically, what EC is about is the electrical current in the water. There's something about the amount of electrical current that is formed in water that makes roots grow or not grow. I'm still working on this to understand it better. But I've got the meter now. And I can tell you mine is about 2.2, I think, at the moment. I have no idea. I'll get better on that. But I got the technology now. That was my one step. First, I got the setup. And by the way, the kale is about this high now. I'm very excited about that. Now, here's something else that I wanted to tell you. I'm always trying to think ahead and try and buy, every week I try and buy something to help me towards another goal. And I was getting really frustrated on Thursday. I don't mind telling you, because I was busy in the craft room, but you think you all know that I pull the craft keyboard, the pink one, the craft keyboard and the dongle, the little bit that sits in, and the mouse. I take them out on a Thursday to keep them here so that I can use them for when I'm doing the broadcasts. And I was getting so frustrated on Thursday because I thought, and I got to disconnect everything and take it to the kitchen. And then I went, wait a minute. Didn't I have that on my list of things that I wanted to fix last year? And didn't I, just before Christmas, buy for about $20 another remote keyboard, mouse, and dongle? I went, yeah, I did. So where are they? I had to hunt them down. And I'm going, I don't have to disconnect everything in my craft room. You have no idea how excited I was and how organized I felt, because now I've got the right things that can stay in this cupboard here for my broadcasts, and I don't have to move stuff from point A to point B. So I'm not sure. I think it maybe cost me $25, under, I would say under 30 anyway, to replace that. Now, the one thing I will say, it's on my wish list, although not immediate. I need a new computer for my craft room, and maybe it's a new to me computer. I don't know if you've noticed, but they keep doing this to us, right? We've got computers that, or laptops or whatever, that work really well if you're still using Windows 95. But the problem is you don't use Windows 95 anymore because they automatically make those things update to the next system. And the Windows 95 computer isn't big enough to handle Windows 11. That's called built-in obsolescence. So now for me to use the computer that I've got in the craft room takes me 15 minutes just to fire it up, and then everything I want to do takes time, wasted time. So, I'm going to need to replace that computer. And I'm very seriously thinking about maybe not putting a laptop in there, maybe putting the old-fashioned hard drive in there. You know what you call a tower in there? Because I think they're cheaper these days, but I could be wrong. So, do any of you get frustrated with that? The built-in obsolescence. They make you buy a new one if you want to keep up to date, or if you want the speed, or if you want whatever. Drives me absolutely stressed because we can't all afford to keep changing them on a whim, can we? Yeah, Karen's saying computers need to be replaced every 5 or so years nowadays. I would say, quite honestly, they need to be replaced every 3 now. It used to be 10, then it went to about 5. Now the technology is increasing so quickly that about every 3 years, quite honestly, they're obsolete as you leave the store. Have any of you noticed that? It's like printers. But what I love about printers is I actually will go to the store and buy the ones that are about to be discontinued, because you can pick them up for $100 and they will last you for a good couple of years. It's well worth the money, rather than spend $600 and then it depreciates by half of that as you walk out the door. So, in fact, I've got two. The last time I went to buy one, I bought two. They were such a they were such a good price. I think I bought two HPs. Listen to this: HP 3-in-1s, but an old model, for $100 each, and that included ink in them. You know what I mean? It was just like, why would I not pick up two? So I'm looking at it and going, it's frustrating to me. Now, there's part of me that goes, I might consider. Yeah, I thought it was a good deal too, Jody. That's why I picked up both of them. I looked at them; they were both, side by side. One was an HP and one was another very well-known brand. Um, and I just went, and they were both like $100 each. And I went, I'll take both. Nyasha, I'm glad you're here, honey. I'm trying to find out on the 12th, do you go to see a specialist, or is that the day you have your operation for your eyes? I want to make sure I'm giving the right information to people. That would be awesome if you could let me know. By the way, you will remember that Marnie and her mom came and bought some of the Christmas houses you remember the white houses that I had and the red ones, like these. They bought a couple of villagers to take overseas with them as presents, along with some of the homemade cards. And they were saying that they were so well received. And what made me burst out laughing was Marnie wrote to me yesterday or the day before and said, Mom wants to know, are you doing Easter houses? Apparently she is totally hooked on them now. So I'm going to have to talk to mommy and find out what it is she'd like to see for an Easter house. Now, that brings me to another thing, and I wanted you to um, think about this. One of the designs I've got is what I call the zigzag. Hang on a second. Okay, so this is called the zigzag grouping, all right? And if I can hold it straight. And it really is beautiful. It takes quite a bit of work to produce, but people love it. So what I did, and I think I might have discussed this with you before, I actually wrote to the person who designed it and said, I would like to buy the commercial license to produce it because I'm getting, a lot of reaction to it. So the person never wrote back. Oh, she wrote back and said, this is how much it would cost, and I'll send you an invoice if you like. And I said, thank you very much. That'd be wonderful. And I waited a week and still hadn't got it. So I wrote again and said, just a reminder. I wrote 4 times, people. Oh, and then I heard, then I heard the amount. And then I said, is that in Canadian dollars or is that in American dollars? That's how far I got. Then I wrote 2 more letters saying, I'm still waiting to find out whether you want that money in Canadian or American. Now, I don't know about you. There's part of me that's going, boy, they are not keen to sell the license for this thing. Karen, that's a judgment, but I agree with you, right? Karen's saying, wow, that's not very professional. What it is she's obviously it was Christmas time. She's got other things on her mind, and I understand that. But in the meantime, you know my ethics, right? You guys know me pretty well. Ethically, I cannot sell these in my mind until I have the right to do so. Does that make sense to any of you? All right, let me just see here. Okay, so it is the specialist on the 12th. Okay, that's good. Thanks very much, Nisha. So do you understand my ethics here? That because even though I know I've done all the right things, because I haven't had the license given to me, I am hesitant to sell any. And then I went, wait a minute. What's the workaround here? And Jodie's probably chuckling right now. Because I went, could I prove that I've done everything that I could be asked to do? Have I got a paper trail that shows I wrote 4 different emails about this? So the only thing I haven't done is to pay for it. But if I paid for it, even though they hadn't sent me the official documentation, could I prove that I know the amount? I did 4 emails worth of trying to get that license invoice, and then I paid it. So therefore, what do you think? You know what I mean? It's like, boy, if you want to tell me that I'm not allowed to do that, you told me how much it was. I sent it in American dollars because I reckon that's probably what it was all about, not in Canadian. And then I went, okay, I'm not going to worry about it. I'll now follow up once a month and go, just for the record, I'm still waiting. But I have sent you the money and I have got the paper trail to show that I've been trying to pay this. But I'm presuming that as of right now, I have the right to produce this. And so, yeah, I got the paper trail. I feel I'm still not happy, but it's like, no, you are holding up my mental process here. So could any of you, I want to go back for a second because we're talking about stress. Can any of you tell me, why do you think it is that when I got out of the habit of driving at night, and why I was so scared when I used to drive all the time? And part of me goes, I think it has a lot to do with everything that's happened to me in the last couple of years. But Also, I wondered, maybe my eyesight is not as good as well, that I find it more difficult driving at night and all the rest of it. So I just wanted to make sure that we all are aware that as we get older, things change. And it's not that I'm a wuss, because I'm not. Um, it's about maybe there was a good reason why I wasn't feeling as safe. Makes sense. So I think I'm going to go back and have my eyes retested and see what's good, whether I'm still safe to be driving at night, if you like. Now, Yvonne introduced me to something that I've not had before. Have any of you had chocolate coffee beans? It's like it's a coffee bean, but it's crossed with the chocolate bean. How they do that, I don't know. It's not chocolate covered beans. It is actually a proper coffee bean, but it is a chocolate coffee bean. I have no idea how they do that. But Yvonne said, you got to try this. So, well, you're right. You got to try that. It was awesome. Hi there, Pat. Interesting. Pat saying her daughter loves them. Yeah, well, you know something, Jody? It's one of those things where it's worth a try. If you like chocolate, it's like hot chocolate beans. All right, Karen's saying the headlights are a lot brighter in the more recent years as well, making it harder to drive at night. Thank you, Karen. That's what I felt. And that's what made me wonder whether my eyesight's going or something. I'm going, boy, those lights look far brighter than they used to somehow. So that's interesting that you mentioned that. Thank you. And the fact it was in rain. It was pretty nasty weather. Um, and the fact I was going somewhere and I'd never been there before. At least if you've been there once, you know what to expect, and you know where the house is, or you know where to park or where not to park or whatever. It was so many things like that. And I thought, I don't like advertising the fact that I'm a wuss, but I wondered how many of you would relate to that. And one of two things. Either I need to do a lot more driving at night until I get my confidence back. Oh, Pat can as well. Thanks, Pat. But part of me went, maybe I just need to do more. It's because I haven't done it for a while. That I feel sure of it. By the way, something else happened to me this week, and I wondered if any of you would relate to this in terms of stress. A neighbor came to me this week and said, would I got a feeling you've got a trickle charger for your car. And I said, yes, I do. Is there any way I could borrow it because I need to charge my battery? And I said, of course. Well, of course I would, right? Well, 2 days later, and I told him where to put it when he returned it. 2 days later, I went to where I told him to return it to, and it wasn't there. I don't know why. That sort of got up my nose a little bit. So I sent the text and I said, is there any way you could return? Or if you did return it and put it somewhere else, could you tell me where it is? Trying to hope that was what had happened. But it's like you asked to borrow it, not to keep it. And I said, the reason I need to know where it is because I need it. I've got to charge my car. How keen will I be to lend it to that person again? Oh, except this time it would go, yes, you may, but I want it back tomorrow, latest, because I need it. So Pat is saying that she finds rainy nights the worst. Okay, thank you. And Karen's saying, thank you for that compassion as well, Karen. Says, it's being cautious, not being a wuss. And about the people borrowing things and not returning them, Karen saying that's upsetting. It's sad that some people don't respect other people's property. Yeah, I think, respect is a really big thing in my life. What about you guys? One of the things I always said about Yvonne, we came from two completely different walks of life, but you know something? What we had in common was respect. And we loved each other from, as soon as we realized that we both had that in our basic thing. We've been friends ever since. Okay, so Nyasha's saying it could be that your eyes are dry. I suffer from dry eyes, and I've been given artificial tears. Yes, that's a very nice idea. Yeah, and Nyasha's saying now that she's got this whole thing going on with her eye issue, she's more and more focused on things eye related. Yeah, I don't think it's about dry eyes though, Nyasha. It's a good point, but it's not what it is. I think it has to do with rain. Um, the fact that I haven't driven at night for probably over a year. And I was going somewhere that I didn't know, and I was scared about getting not lost because we got Google Maps now. Wasn't getting lost that worried me as much as where do I park, and will I have to walk in the dark by myself somewhere, from half a block or something and not feel safe? Do you know all those sort of security things? Yeah, that's what it was as well. And the glare is awful on a rainy night. Yes. And my windows apparently weren't quite as clean as they might be. Another reason. All right. So it's time to get out there and clean those windows. However, I did it. And I was so glad that I did because I got to see the new place that they've got, and they've done a wonderful job with it. And also, I got to um, sit up and eat this turkey dinner with them, which was awesome. But we laughed a lot, and we shared. We're great at giving each other sort of fun things. Now, this might make some of you just roll your eyes, but every year Yvonne gives me a packet of licorice all sorts. Now, here's the funny thing: for all the years I've known Yvonne, which is about 25 now, we found out very early on that I absolutely love the black licorice ones, and she loves the sandwich ones. For those of you who know licorice all sorts, I like the ones with the bubbles on, and she hates those. So it's always a very good idea for us to give each other a bag of licorice all sorts. As I explained to Yvonne, I actually had two bags that I bought for her, but unfortunately they never got that far. I said if I hadn't eaten them, you would have two bags right now. But anyway, so she gave me the bag of literature, all sorts, but automatically what we do is we open it, and she came out with two baggies, and then we divided them up. So it's the gift that always gets shared. And I just thought, it's part of our tradition, right? And she gave me a really cute bag. She gave me a really cute, it's like Christmas bag. And I said, okay, that's my bag now. And I returned it. And she said, what? I said, no, I'm giving it back so you can fill it up again for next year. That's my bag. You know the one, because it was cute enough to give to me. So I know that it's very special and you'll remember that's mine. Okay, so hang on a second. Karen is saying, did you all hear about dark chocolate? I'm not sure if it affects Canada as well. Okay, educate me, please, Karen, and anybody else that happens to tune in. Dum 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 dum. The answer is no. I haven't heard anything about dark chocolate. Come on, Karen, type. The suspense is killing me. Oh, and the other. Okay, There's something bad in the dark chocolate of many brands, really, in the States at the moment. Okay, Jody, can you make a note for me to do some research on that? Heavy metals, she thinks. Cadmium and lead found in dark chocolate bars. Really? Wow. Well, good job I don't like dark chocolate very much. But thank you for letting us know. So be careful, everybody. She's saying Jerseys, that's a brand, is currently being sued. Wow. Now, the other thing we did, and Jody, this will be important for you to know, is that you can probably still see I've got marks up my arm. One of the things after you've had a mastectomy is you need to be careful about lymphedema. That's the reaction your body has, and your body starts to swell. Hershey's, not Jersey. Well, Karen, when you mistype it, I mean, it's the autotype. I thought, I don't know a brand called Jerseys. Yeah, it's the autocorrect, right? Put it in for you. So Hershey's is being sued. Wow. No, not a problem. We all have that problem, honey. Not just you. The problem we have is we didn't check before we hit the send button, right? So Jody, just to let you know, we measured my arm all the way up. I have to do it in 5 different places. And I just need to compare it with the other one. But with Yvonne and Wade are making sure that they do that every month for me, which I love, which means I will see them every month. So let us just go back where we started with all of this. Am I the only one that needs to do some downsizing of my clutter this year? Do any of you relate to that at all? So I have a feeling that it is a universal problem for probably 99% of the world. Except those of you who were brought up in households that taught you to downsize all the time. I always remember visiting Benji and Judy one time, and while I was there, Judy just pulled out everything from one cupboard, and it was the children's toy cupboard, and basically said, okay, half of it's going to Goodwill. Which half do you want to keep? And had the children put stuff into boxes. And I went, wow, and they did it in like 20 minutes, done. And so I looked at it and said, some people are brought up doing it naturally. I always remember those of you who go way back, Jenny Jen, always went through the whole of her house every spring, the whole of her house, every drawer, every cupboard, every nook and cranny, and did that, took everything out and only put half back. I always remember her doing that, and I used to think, boy, I'd love to be able to do that. And so I'm thinking, other than the boxes of stuff that have been in my shed for 2 years that I haven't used in 2 years, so we know what the story is there. But I'm thinking about, how many wine glasses have I got? But I am finding use for wine glasses. It's great for growing seedlings. But, there's so many different areas of my house that I thought we can do this together. Where you can see it's not just you, I've got the same problem. And it's just as difficult for me as it is for you. The question is, will you take me up on the challenge? And if you say to yourself, I'm just going to take one Safeway bag and fill it each week just to support Sal, I would know that it is worth doing. All right. Because it's not easy to do, as you saw. You go through emotional roller coaster of, oh, I'm wasting money, or so, that's, Jody saying about Christmas decorations that are personal, all those sort of things. But it's not all that necessary. I was amazed when I looked at Yvonne's place. Her memory walls are just absolutely filled with memories, right? And every wall is a memory wall. Uh, and I went there and I thought, and why not? If that makes her happy, why not? But what I'm trying to do is to make enough room in my house for the things that I want to put up on walls and put in cubies, and not have everything, cluttered in places. And that's what I'm going to do, bit by bit by bit. Now, it may mean I need to bring in some more units to hold more cubies because I don't have enough sorting places, to put those things in. And that is one of the things I'm aware of, that when I re-bought stuff for my bedroom, I didn't buy any cabinets. I had dressers, and I used my cubies in my bedroom to hold clothes and things. So that's one place where I lost some space. But I definitely need to downsize. On a very sad note, that I wanted to say that I had a friend here in the community, um, that had cancer as well. And to my absolute amazement and shock, she died this week. And that was not expected. I mean, it was expected that she probably wouldn't last the year, but I definitely didn't get a sense that she was going to die within a week or two. And so I want to just remind you all to love the people you love, and make sure that you tell them that on a regular basis. I was so grateful for the fact that I'd actually spoken to her a few days ago, and we were laughing about something, um, because I would have been horrified if I had put that off and not spoken with her. Now, I didn't get to say goodbye, but I didn't know she was going anywhere, did I? So I can forgive myself for that. But it was just like, thank goodness I was in touch with her. So please remember that we don't know. We just don't know, do we? All right. So on that note, let's get organized. Let's declutter, and let's do it together. I hope this has been a bit of an eye opener. I definitely am going to need to take my stuff down to the garbage this week. I've managed to get my recycling and everything down so well that I can actually only put my bins out once a month now. That is pretty good. Yeah, I can recycle my food scraps and everything and make compost. I'm getting more and more careful about one-use plastics and things like that. So I'm really quite proud of myself, but definitely I'm going to have a full bin this week because this lot is going. So this is DearMamaSal saying, let's be more organized, and let's think twice about keeping things and becoming a hoarder. And I hate that word, and I hate to be thought of as a hoarder. But what I'm starting to say is, I may not be the real definition of a hoarder, but I definitely must have, stage one of it. I don't know if any of you agree. When you look at your place, are you a stage one hoarder? Think about that. We will see you on Friday. By the way, that chow mein was awesome. The stuff we made on Friday. Oh, and I wanted to give you a tip before I go. How many of you buy a couple of stalks of celery rather than a bunch? Because, it's only one or two of you, and, you don't want to waste money on a bunch. The reason is, I wanted to tell you that I did a bit of research on this because I was pretty sure I was right in my thinking. At the moment, to buy about 4 or 5 stalks costs about just under $5, just shy of $5. to buy a bunch of 10 full stalks. When I say to buy about 5 of it's the shortened stalks, right? But if you buy the bunch, you get about 10 or more full stalks. The price this week was $2.66. So does it make sense to you that if I buy a whole bunch and only use 4 or 5 of the 10 stalks, I am still saving 50%? Isn't that amazing? And the other thing I found is, quite honestly, I can keep celery in my fridge. As long as I take off the bits that start to turn, just cut those off and just keep what's left. I can keep it for nearly a month now. But look at the difference in price. I thought that was absolutely amazing. That to buy 5 stalks cost $5, and to buy 10 full stalks on the bunch cost $2.66. And maybe you can dehydrate the celery you don't use. Of course, I have done that. But quite honestly, why have I not done that? Yes, you're right. You're right. I could dehydrate it. Absolutely. Did you see the dehydrated vegetables that I did, Karen? That I did last week? You remember I pureed all those vegetables? I dehydrated them, and that's what they ended up looking like. Right? And I'm now putting them in my smoothies. Just about half a teaspoon in each smoothie. I couldn't believe that it came down to just that much when I had a whole thing of vegetable. So that is the difference. I'm not using this fridge space anymore. I am now dehydrating it. And how am I dehydrating it? I just literally put it, I hang it. I've got a clothes rack over a floor vent, and I just have a, one of those S hooks. Do you all know what an S hook is? And I just hang the little bags, the craft bags, like this, onto the clothes horse, and the hot air is coming from underneath all the time. Works beautifully. Yeah, I saw that. Thank you, Jody. Yeah, I dried it, Nyasha. I dried the leftover vegetables for the week. I put them in a blender and brought it all down into very small bits, and then I dried it, and then I pulverized it after it was dry. No, I did not use a dehydrator. I put the vegetables, the vegetables, I pulverized it, and then I put it on paper, on a tray, and put that flat on my clothes horse so that the heat was getting to it all the time. And I had paper underneath it and paper above it, so the paper was absorbing the moisture all the time. And I would say within about 4 days, it was dehydrated. I left it there for another 3, but didn't use a dehydrator. So there you go. I thought I'd give you that feedback. This is DearMamaSal saying, we'll see you on Friday, and I look forward to it. And please have a good week. And remember to love the people you love in case they're not there next week. This is DearMamaSal saying, thanks for your help. And Jody, thanks for your support. We'll see you all on Friday. And thank you for my present, Karen, and for my card to Jeannie. Bye-bye for now.